Let's talk a little bit more about this with Julia Manchester, national political reporter for The Hill. Julia, this case centers on the Biden administration's authority to set immigration policy. Now, if the Biden administration loses this case, what's the impact?
Yeah, the impact is huge in that it's a real political loss for Joe Biden. Looking at this from the perspective of a national political reporter, we see that Republicans, particularly in these Republican-led border states like Texas, have really been trying to draw attention to the situation at the southern border, saying that there are, hordes of migrants or, large numbers of people crossing over the border and that their local law enforcement there can't handle all of these people, and saying that the Biden administration's policy on this, essentially prioritizing deporting and apprehending migrants who pose a threat to national security, doesn't necessarily go far enough. And we know that the Biden administration has held much more of a liberal view on this, but it would be a big loss for the Biden administration. Now, we'll have to see how this goes, because we know that this is a conservative-leaning Supreme Court, and we know that conservative states, conservative governors are bringing this to the Supreme Court. But we know that the Supreme Court has, gone against that mold in the past. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But a big moment for the Biden administration on what is really a very fraught issue it's facing right now.
In June, the Supreme Court ruled the Biden administration could end Title 42, that health policy to restrict immigrants from crossing, and that the administration could set its own immigration policy, which has yet to be seen. In July, less than a month later, the High Court ruled to allow a U.S. district judge to vacate a certain policy from Homeland Security. And really, it's so amazing how quickly the lower courts were allowed to supersede the White House's policies. Why is that?
Yeah, look, I think the lower courts essentially, critics would say maybe some of it is political and that they were pushing back against the White House's policy, but others would say that, there is a cause for a, national security concern, and the fact a law enforcement concern. And, from those who say that there is just so many people flowing over the border that a lot of these states, a lot of these border communities just simply don't have the resources to deal with this right now. So I think it has to do something along those lines. But we know that this is, just a number of legal battles that have really played out with the situation at the southern border right now.
Would there be answers for lawmakers during today's oral arguments as to what the White House's strategy will be for immigration reform?
That's a good question. I think a lot of Americans, a lot of lawmakers are obviously, wanting to know the answer to that question. It was interesting. Last week, Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, a Democratic senator who very narrowly won his reelection bid, said, look, his party doesn't necessarily understand the situation at the border, and they need to work on their messaging when it comes to that. And a lot of that messaging comes directly from the White House. A lot of Democrats are looking to see how the Biden administration moves on this. So it might, be best for the Biden administration to provide more of those insights as to what its policy is. However, I think it will be very telling if we continue to get very vague answers on this issue.
Well, and it seems as though the administration has at sometimes pushed for Congress to be the one who creates and institutes new policy. But does DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, does he stand to get forced out with those claims that some lawmakers want him impeached?
I think a lot of those calls from Republicans to get Mayorkas impeached are very political at this point. We know that obviously Republicans control the House, but the chance of that, going through the House and the Senate, which is still controlled by Democrats, is very, very slim. So I think this is very much sort of grandstanding from the Republican side, very much trying to galvanize their own base, galvanize their own lawmakers on an issue that has really united Republicans and has also, given them the support of those, maybe more moderate voters on this issue. So it's very much, I would say, grandstanding at this point, a lot of rhetoric. I don't think the chances of it happening and him being ousted would be very slim at this point. I don't think the White House necessarily wants that. But it's something that Republicans have continued to call for because it goes along with their messaging on this issue.
Right. And a lot of Democrats are seeing the same light as Republicans on this issue, especially as mayors in cities like D.C., New York, and then you mentioned Senator Mark Kelly, all Democrats and all wanting some change. Julia Manchester from The Hill, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.